Well, good morning. It's time to leave Jacksonville. We're heading to St. Augustine today, so it looks like a very nice day.
Take a walk down by the sea, picking up colored shells in the sand.
Well, we really picked a good day for heading down the ICW. Just gorgeous. Yesterday and the day before were really blowing like a stink. The neighbor beside us says he hasn't seen strong winds like that since the last hurricanes. And he's a liveaboard, so yeah. It's really beautiful along here. We made it to St. Augustine. Apparently it's one of the oldest cities in the United States, so unfortunately we're kind of in a rush because it's around Christmas time. It's actually the 23rd. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and we got to get to a marina tomorrow because things are closed probably on Christmas Day, so we'll probably want to be at a marina. So we need to get out of here. We're going to continue heading south. So St. Augustine has this beautiful fort in the background there, and I believe it may actually be closed because of the government shutdown, so we're not going to bother even going in. We're at Palm Coast Marina. It's a little bit noisy. They're doing some construction. There's some sawing of some, I think there's some docks or something they're repairing over there. Anyways, we came in Christmas Eve, decided to spend 2 days, and so now it's Boxing Day, and we're gonna head down to try and make Daytona today. That's the plan. This is Palm Cove Marina is nice. There's if you're into golfing, there's a golf course over there, but our major thing was to try and get a few groceries before we headed down to Daytona, and of course being over Christmas everything is closed, so that's why we decided to get a marina. Slip on a marina. Yeah, so it's time to move south again. It's definitely getting warmer as we go. As we move south, it seems to get warmer and warmer, is what you would expect. So it's almost time to switch into some shorts. Another comfortable day, not a huge amount of wind, and we've got about 36 miles to go. Hopefully we'll get there before dark. There's 4 lifting bridges and a bunch of 65-foot bridges. Those ones aren't a problem. The lifting bridges look like they're on demand, except for the last one near Daytona, which is on the hour or 20 minutes after or 40 minutes after, which is kind of an odd schedule. We anchored last night just south of Daytona Beach, trying to get as far south as we can. We got a few more repairs to do to the boat. We still got our mainsail headboard that needs to be repaired or replaced. So today we're going to try and get as many hours south as we can. Arrived at Titusville. There is a mooring field here, but it's kind of shallow, so we decided to anchor out just by the bridge. So far so good. Seems like we got about 7 feet under us, so under our keel anyway, so that should be good. We just left Titusville and we're on our way south on Indian River again. This morning I rolled up the mainsail and obviously took all the battens out of it. I'm going to drop it off at a sail loft, hopefully tonight or tomorrow morning for repairs. Today, and we just decided to anchor out. Brought the mainsail over to South Sails, and that'll be ready on Monday afternoon, so there's no point in staying in the marina. We filled up with water, and in 2 days we'll go and get some fuel, and then we'll top up our water again. And it's been calm, so I think anchoring out just in front of the marinas is a great solution. Our solar panel is, well, we got 300 watts of solar panel, so it seems like it's producing enough voltage for amperage anyways for recharging our batteries and keeping the fans going during the day. So yeah, it's so warm out today. It's in the high 20s, so we've got all the windows up open and fans going, and yeah, this is the Florida weather that we want to grow to love. Well, today was a wonderful day. It really got up to the high 20s. There was a good breeze blowing. We had all the windows open, which haven't done that probably since we owned the boat, really, because where we had back in Whitby, we had the AC running. So now we're on anchor. We had all the windows open, had the fans going, the solar panels were working just fabulously, and yeah, and it's calm here. It's a small little anchorage, probably 6 or 8 boats you could probably get around here. And I found the dinghy dock, so tomorrow I'll probably go and get some groceries. Alright, let's go for a dinghy ride. Do a little grocery run.
I'm that kind of girl. I go for my groceries in my dinghy.
Well, we decided to go for some Chinese food, and then we hit the Publix, It's amazing how a couple bags of groceries cost you $75 US. It's crazy. Small tear in the sail pack, so I'm actually taking the sail pack off today. First thing to do is remove all the lazy jacks. The sail has been removed previously. It's off getting stitched up as well. So lazy jacks are off. Now I just have to slide the sail pack off. There's a groove where there's a bolt rope that secures the sail pack to the boom. So you just slide on the bolt rope and it'll come off. First thing to do is just take the fray off with a hot knife. Before you buy a bunch of thread, look at this profilin. This is the clearer one. They have different colors, I'm sure, but this one is better than Tenera, and it does not skip stitches, or very few stitches. The Tenera will just skip on these Sealight machines. Tried some of this ripstop on the back. It seems like a reinforced vinyl material that I got from Sealight. Anyways, this stuff will not rip, it will not stretch, and it's very durable. So that should reinforce the back, and then the front, I'm just going to hide that the rip area. And you know, as you noticed, I've used the hot knife to cut out any of the material. And I'm just gonna cover that up. I won't win any prizes for my stitching, but it's definitely secured now, and with this ripstop on the back, it should be stronger than it was before. Monte's making some awesome sandwiches. Fort Pierce today. Lots of motoring. We did about 6.5 hours of motoring. But we found this anchorage on the Fort Pierce inlet. I actually tried further south, and it was kind of shallow, so this one, there's a few sailboats around here, so I just picked a spot in between. There's quite a current coming in the inlet from the ocean. I think there's about a knot and a half right now, but I let out probably 125 feet of chain, and should be fine. And I'll set my anchor alarm. There's actually a beach right here. I don't know if I'd want to jump in the water right here. There's quite a current. So we've got 150 gallons of water on board, so we've got plenty of hot water for showers now. And the plan for tomorrow is more motoring down the ICW. Probably another 6.5 hours, so almost far south in Florida as we want to get. Well, good morning. We had a good night on anchor here at Peck Lake, and yeah, it was very peaceful. There's quite a few boats in the anchorage here. It's quite tight. We managed to find about 9 feet of water under us, but we had to kind of shoehorn in between two boats here. I was kind of worried about the boat behind me here, because he said he had 60 feet of chain out, and that's not a whole lot. So I didn't have that much out. I think I had about 60 or 70 feet out as well. And I was worried that I was going to drift back into him. But no, there was a good distance between us, so it worked out well. It looks like we might have some rain today, but we're just going to continue south. We got about 5 or 6 hours to get to West Palm today. That's the plan, get to West Palm. So about an hour north of Peck Lake, we ran into an area that was really shallow. Navionics did warn us about that, so we tried to use the sonar feature. I mean, we don't have sonar capabilities on the boat, but it has some sonar stored in the application. So we used that and tried to find the deepest spot, and it did actually work, but we only had at some points a foot under the keel. So yeah, it was pretty intense. We spent the night at North Palm Beach Marina. Unfortunately, the washer and dryers were mostly out. There was only one washer and dryer that was working, and it was a big lineup, so that was kind of a drag. Doing laundry till 11 at night, and then I had to get up in the morning again and do another 2 loads. So anyways, we're headed to West Palm this morning. Well, we've made it to West Palm Beach. It's a Friday afternoon, and it looks like it's going to be a nice day. We found an anchorage right by this public dock, and apparently the public docks, you can, it's a dinghy dock, and you can actually park large boats on it as well. There, you can just kind of see it in behind there. So we're going to dinghy over there later and walk into town. We need more groceries, and we need to get some repairs done to the boat still, some minor little things. I think this is as far south as we're going to go in Florida. Well, I'm on West Palm again today, out on a bottled water run. There's an interesting little market happening today, a lot of organic fruits and vegetables and all kinds of organic stuff. Anyways, my Tay's back in the boat. She's preparing for some guests this afternoon, so I'm just gonna go get some bottled water for her.
Yes, you wait for radio business. Do I know you?
Mira,
Lo monta y lo tenía súbito. Sí.
qué grande.
Y a pescar, algunos pescan y todo.
Ah, se acostumbra.
Mira qué grande.
Esta ganamos.
West Palm Beach. We're really enjoying this anchorage. One of the advantages is it has an no-wake zone because of the manatees. So yeah, it's been very, very calm. The boats that pass aren't producing much wake, so that's nice. It makes for a great rest. And we've got access to this public dock. So right behind me here, there's this public dock, and actually there's water on it, so free water. So you can hook up your hose to the side of the dock and get some water. Now you got to watch out for the currents. So you want to make sure that the current is flowing off the dock, and just bow into this particular dock and fill up your tanks. If you don't do that with a full keel or modified keel, you could get pinned to the dock for 6 hours, because there's about 2.5, 3 knots going up and down this part of the stretch of the ICW. The other nice thing is they've got so many nice little restaurants, and it's scenic on Saturdays and Sundays. It's just it's amazing the amount of people that come down into West Palm, and it's kind of a party atmosphere. So yeah, it's party atmosphere, and there's restaurants out here that have live bands. So it's been nice. Well, we wanted to order a life raft, but we had a problem finding a place to ship it to because we were anchored out in West Palm Beach. So I called around and finally found a UPS store, and for $5 they would let us use their store to ship it to. It was $5 a day if you didn't pick it up right away. So we just picked it up the first day. It cost us $5 for having them receive it, which is an amazing deal because this is a huge, it's a 6-person life raft. And there's the UPS store. Here we have a fiberglass tank. I think it's good for 15 years. However, it was a couple years old when I got it, and it has to be recertified every 5 years. Guess what? It's up for recertification, and I'm in Florida and can't find anybody to recertify it or fill it. Yes, if you've got fiberglass tanks, that might be a problem for you in Florida. So what I had to do, because this is a small little locker here, I had to get 2 of these steel tanks. These are 11-pound tanks, so that's the alternative. These are just regular barbecue tanks, not marine grade, still steel, but they were $60 US each versus I think there's roughly around $200. So if you're planning on buying these, Florida might not be the place to have them. West Palm Beach for weather to cross over to the Bahamas. We've been getting a lot of strong winds and gusts. Last night was very gusty, up to 30 knots at least, and the boat was just shaking back and forth. Of course, this boat wants to sail on anchor, so that's even worse because worried about the anchor breaking loose. So I woke up this morning and yeah, sure enough, there was another boat beside me. Drifted into the shore. He's got a 5-foot draft, and he was heeled over probably 30 degrees. I went over there and asked him if he needed assistance, and he said he's just going to wait for the tide to come up. He said he didn't have a towing insurance, so he was just going to do it himself. So he didn't want any assistance, and so he just got off now. The tide went up about 2 feet, and he managed to wiggle out. And yeah, now he's going to go anchor. It looks like he has some kind of fluke or fortress anchor, and he says it's been holding all week, but the gusts were just so strong last night that he blew into shore around I think 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So he's just been waiting and waiting and waiting, had his engine running and waiting to back off, and he managed to do it. This 30-footer broke loose last night and landed up on the lee shore. It was quite windy last night, and I offered him assistance, and he went to wait for the tide to come up, and it looks like he's getting off now.
Take